All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Keefe. Happy almost weekend. You're watching another edition of GhostCultMag.com's weekly ritual, our rock and metal news live stream everywhere on the web. In case this is your first time here, since 2012, GhostCultMag.com has been your daily one-stop source for album reviews, interviews with rock and metal bands, festival and concert coverage, and so much more, including these live streams and a lot of fun other stuff. Thanks for being here one more time. Yet another crazy and challenging week in the world, and we're here to talk about all the things and document everything. Looks like we're live everywhere we're supposed to be. Thanks for being here. And excited to do the thing yet again. Let's see if I can add this bad boy to the stage. And there we go. All right. Usually that's the case. The best experience for this show is usually YouTube. For now, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. We're also on TikTok and a bunch of other things. Thanks for being here. If you're here, I appreciate you. This is where we do all the things every week. So let's just jam right into it with no delay. I got babies to kids and ladies to catch. Let's find out. I'm trying to make a little... Trying a variation on my setup today. So we'll see. Hopefully I look good. Hopefully I sound good. We'll find out. But thanks for being here. Just always, the weekend show usually records on Thursday. We'll see, the next few weeks might be a little rocky. I might have to move it around, but we will do our best. We'll do our best to bring you all the news that's fit to print. It's time for some announcements. And just first off, it's been a difficult time in general. Yesterday would have been the 50th birthday of my childhood best friend, Damien Danville. Passed away last year in October. One of the things I'm trying to do personally, deal with my grief in my own way, but I like to remember people how they lived instead of sad that they're gone. I am sad that he's gone, but I'm devastated that he's gone. I was really broken up about it last year, but at the same time, the memories we had together were just unforgettable, indelible, whatever you want to say. So I try to keep that right here, and I advise you the same. It definitely makes for a less painful life. Less painful. Just once again, this show and every show lately has been dedicated to Sonia Ramos, a.k.a. Sonia Shredder on Instagram's guitar luthier in Florida, who is battling late-stage cancer. We're just trying to raise awareness of Sonia's GoFundMe to help with her care. If you can donate anything, that would be cool. I always say you can always donate to us either with a super chat or a super like or a super thanks, whatever it is, on TikTok or YouTube. We have a Ko-fi, we have a PayPal, it's on our websites and the links, but if you can donate to Sonia, that would be supremely helpful. We are trying to get our favorite dog, our favorite metalhead dog in San Francisco, Sainthood, Django the super dog, hanging out here with Necrobutcher of Mayhem. Django's wearing his battle vest. Necrobutcher and Django were on their way to also kill Euronymous, but they ended up not going. Probably distracted by treats. I know I would be if I was a dog or a cat. I would be constantly on catnip, high, and distracted by treats. Facts. Straight facts. Also, time for some features here. I'm just going to move it along today. Keep it fast, keep it moving. As you know, Slayer made their glorious, triumphant comeback this week. We did a roundtable discussion a few weeks back with a panel of experts, a bunch of fellow music journalists and longtime, experts on the metal genre and experts on Slayer. And we talked about why they were coming back and what we thought it would be like. And then they made their comeback at Riot Fest. Here's a sneak peek preview of our Riot Fest coverage. Nuclear Savior is here. What is up, sir? Good to see you. I take a sip of my liquid death. I'm a little hoarse and I'm a little tired. I have gone to 2 shows in a row, 3 shows in the last week, plus I had my birthday last week, and then I'm going to a show right after this. I'll talk about it in a few minutes, but really tired. I'm going to sleep, hopefully like a baby tonight. We'll find out. We don't know. You never know. But Slayer came back. It was rad. We did a video here on YouTube. You can check it out. Links in the description. Videos on the channel where I broke down the set list. I wasn't there personally. Our team covered it. We'll have a full review of Riot Fest and Slayer coming soon. But I thought it was important to recap it. People who also were not there were watching YouTube videos and saying how much they sucked when they, like if you watch the videos, they definitely didn't suck. Maybe, again, I don't know what band is retired for 5 years, comes back at like 60 plus years old, and you expect them to be great like they were when they were 30. What is up, Jimmy? I hope you're having a great time at Louder Than Life. Oh, Offspring is great. That's awesome. We were going to mention Louder Than Life. We are covering Louder Than Life this weekend. Our own Raging Rosie will be there the rest of this weekend. I think she's traveling in today, so she's going to miss the fest today, but she'll be there the rest of the weekend doing all the things for Ghost Cult. So check that out. Also, this week, we had a feature interview. I don't know if you like awesome heavy metal bands, but we interviewed Niels from Orden Ogan, who claim they are not power metal, although power metal people and fans like them. Oh, no. You can't hear anything because you're at the festival, not because I'm not being heard. Yeah, that would be sad if you couldn't hear me. Seems like I'm okay. Let's just paranoidly check my audio settings. Yep, I seem to be doing fine. Making me paranoid, but great to see you, Jim. I hope you have a great time. Be safe and have fun. Also, just a reminder, we had our interview last week with Ryan Knight of the Black Dahlia Murder. Black Dahlia Murder's new album, Servitude, comes out this week, their first album without Trevor Sternad. I also did a video review of the album to a companion piece to our written review on our website, ghostcultman.com. You can check all that out in the description. The album is a banger. It's already streaming. You can check it out. But I'm proud of those guys. They really did their thing. Just a reminder, we have a podcast. This show will be a podcast, Ghost Cult Magazine podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. A lot of special features and things will be there, as well as all our YouTube content. And if you're sometimes don't have time to watch a video, sometimes you just prefer to listen to podcasts. And in addition to that, I have another podcast, the Glacially Musical podcast, beer, metal, swearing, vinyl, and so much more. We are in the midst of our new series on Mastodon. The host, Nick Cameron, hates Mastodon. I love Mastodon, so the fighting is intense. I think Mastodon has some undebatable bangers. Nick is liked one record a little bit better than the other, but so far we are like one half out of two for Nick, and obviously 2 for 2 for me. But it's all good. It's not always a competition. People are joining in on the tick of the talk. Thank you, Vaughn Harris, Proud Mom, Steve, Death, Javi Negron, William Gonzalez, Bry. Thanks. I appreciate all y'all for passing through. It's very nice to see you all. It's nice to see everybody. Mastodon, all the things. This week we reviewed Leviathan, which I personally love. A few other things of note, just a reminder. I know they're a little bit out of fashion sometimes, but I think that they're still helpful. Premieres where record labels and publicity firms and bands come to us and are like, hey, would you help share our brand new song? It would really help us out. So we try to do those. I'm doing less than I used to, but we're still doing them. And I think it's useful if you have a band. We do like a New Music Friday video countdown and a whole list every week with links where you can stream and buy albums. And we promote mostly underground bands. We did do an awesome premiere a couple weeks back for Local H, who's a legendary alternative rock band. But most of the time, these are, underground bands you probably need to know a little bit more about. We had one today where we did Throw Light, which is a brand new sort of rap metal, heavy metal band from the LA area. And they dropped their new single, Oblivion. We did that here at the site. And we also did another one earlier in the week. We did another one. We did a few. We did Pythonic, which is a Saskatchewan, Canada thrash metal band, kind of a progressive thrash band. Really cool. We debuted their full EP, their debut EP, EP1. And My name is the Merc with the Mouth, not truthful Timmy, the blowjob queen of Saskatoon, if you know what that reference is from. It's a recent reference, if you know it. And pretty cool. And we've been doing a bunch of these, so check these bands out when we drop these things, because I think it's helpful. It helps them. Also, yeah, that's a Pythonic there. There's a picture of them. It's kind of beautiful there in Western Canada. Gorgeous. Just a reminder, we're on all the things. We do a newsletter every week on Substack and MailChimp. We're moving that MailChimp over to Substack fully eventually, probably soon. And if you don't have, a lot of people are sick of social media, which we're on all those things. We share all our stuff on social media. But if you're tired of those things and you just want a little digest to your inbox once a week, our competitors, our peers all do emails daily. And I don't think people open these things. I'm just going to be real. My profession by day when it's not metal is marketing. And so I don't think you really open all your email every single day. I have to, because otherwise the inbox would get like that. But I don't think the average person checks their email so much. But we're on Substack, we're on Reddit, we're on Discord. All our stuff is there. You can get the newsletter if you like, including this show. We're on all the socials if you want to follow those things for some fun, especially TikTok and Instagram. We do a lot of creative things and little short clips from our videos and stuff like that. I think that stuff's helpful. And yeah, but some people are tired and tired of this stuff. They're really tired. Also, just a shout out to Lambgoat, our media partner. We are part of the Lambgoat Media Network. When you visit ghostcoldman.com and you see ads on our website, that's what we do. That's where those ads come from. When we gave away VIP tickets to Riot Fest for people to see Slayer for the first time in 5 years, we gave away an additional pair of tickets to Riot Fest. We gave away tickets to the New England Metal and Hardcore Fest, which was last weekend. That was all in conjunction with Lambgoat, and there's much more cool stuff coming soon from us, Lambgoat, and their whole network of music websites, metal websites. StreamYard, if you're watching this on most everywhere except TikTok, you're seeing this experience from StreamYard. StreamYard is your one source for streaming dominance. I'm proud and confident to say that. I really love StreamYard. You see this ticker at the bottom of the website. I got the little cool picture-in-picture when we did our little round table, and we're going to do another one soon. I was able to bring everybody in via StreamYard to just kind of pop in like Hollywood Squares of the Brady Bunch. I could theoretically get off of Zoom and do all my interviews on StreamYard and just record them on the cloud or on our website. So I really dig StreamYard. And if you sign up at the link in our description, you get $10 off of your account, your first month with StreamYard, and we get a credit on our account, which is super helpful. It's Dutch door action. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, we put this meme out this week since we have a lot of fun with memes. The world we want, the future we were hoping for, is here because of Slayer returning. Obviously not, but I think it's pretty funny. Tell me if you think it's funny. Probably not. Alrighty, now it's time for the news rundown. This is where we bring you the major part of the show with metal festivals and concert tours and one-off events, and then the big news of the week, big stories, big drama, big deals, big announcements, and then we talk about the new music releases of the week, and then we do something fun from our mailbag, which is either stuff we got in the mail or stuff I picked up at a show or whatnot. And then we bring it all home. That's what we do. Just trying to pull up something here on the screen here. So much going on. So much to manage. Click, clack, click, clack. Like one of my least favorite things is the clickety clack of the mouse. But all right, moving ahead, here comes the metal festival section. We already have somebody watching from Louder Than Life, my homie Jim, Slayer's Mine. Louder Than Life is this weekend in Louisville, Kentucky. It's probably the biggest rock and metal festival of the year in America in terms of number of people attending. I think it's usually 75,000 people. Slipknot, Slayer, Motley Crue, and Korn, as well as Five Finger Death Punch, Evanescence, Disturbed, Judas Priest, Offspring, Till Lindemann, Breaking Benjamin, Gojira, Dropkick Murphys, Anthrax, Sevendust, Disturbed, Architects in a rare American appearance, Ginger, Polaris, Mastodon, LS Dunes, Tom Morello's solo debut of his new material, Grandson, Sum 41 on one of their final shows in America, Biohazard from Brooklyn, New York, the homies, and a whole lot more. So that's always a good time. We'll bring you a review of that, as we said earlier in the show. Also, this weekend, the biggest metal festival every year in Scotland, Hordes X, brought to you by Slow Dragon Music. Shout out to Paul Slow Dragon. He works with Ghost Cult. He helps us with our news. A lot of times when you see our news posts overnight, that is with the help of Paul. And Hordes X, Paul books Hordes X, and he manages and runs it. And they got a killer festival this week. I think Thalcandra, which is the black metal side project from Obscura, is one of the bands this weekend. Pretty freaking killer. We got the full announcement, and that's what I was trying to like yoink up here on the screen. We got, last week we brought you the news that Metallica and Rob Zombie and Alice in Chains are going to headline Sonic Temple next spring. And now they've announced a bunch of new bands. I think it's 11 bands total so far. Eventually will be over 100 bands. So your Thursday headliner coming soon. Your Friday headliner and Sunday headliner is Metallica. Your Saturday headliner is supposedly coming soon. I thought that would be Rob Zombie and Alice in Chains, but maybe it isn't. Other bands confirmed: Killswitch Engage, Hollywood Undead, Trivium, Citizen Soldier, Power Trip, controversial Power Trip. We just covered them in New York City. Chevelle, who are working on a new album. Testament, who should have a new record by then. I Prevail, Arch Enemy, probably working on a new album. Ice Nine Kills are everywhere. The Devil Wears Prada, and many, many more. Go to sonictemplefestival.com/lineup for the full details so far. Thank you, Ao Monster, for following us. That's super cool, man. I thank you so much. I'm grateful for every single person that you can spend your time. I say this every week. You can spend your time with anyone to bring you this information. There's a lot of people streaming all over the web. We do this thing. It's tireless. We do, 7 to 20 posts a day, social media, special content for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all kinds of rare, and it's hard work. I have a partner that co-owns this brand with me, and we practically never stop. We have an editorial team that manages our whole team of writers, and we put up, again, 5 to 15 reviews a week of albums every week. This stuff is exhausting, but it's our passion. I played in bands for a long time. I interviewed Gabe from Unto Others, who has a new record out right now, Never Neverland, and he's starting to ask me about my career in the middle of my interview with him, which was hilarious. I was like, well, I played in bands for 15 years, 20 years. I went to music school as a kid. Then I did this for a long time. And before I did Ghost Cult, I did other websites. So Sonic Temple is shaping up to be a banger. Oh, man, this is kooky. Proof that Dave Grohl can actually pull out when he wants to. So, Dave Grohl is in the news rather controversially for fathering a child out of his marriage. He's trying to keep his family together. I don't care about such things. A lot of our competitors and other people who do what we do posted about this 100 times. We just posted about it a couple times. But Foo Fighters has pulled out of this weekend's Soundside Music Festival, which I believe is in Connecticut. And I was looking at they were clearly the headliner of the whole festival, and now they're not doing it, which, it's definitely going to cause the festival some problems and make them need to give some refunds. This is like a very random festival, but, probably popular artists, right? So Foo Fighters were the clear headliner. They're now out. Jack White and Greta Van Fleet will now join the lineup on Sunday. The Sunday tickets also include Bleachers, Norah Jones, and Teddy Swims. Great voice on that Teddy Swims. I'm not a huge pop and R&B fan, but that dude can wail. Also Noah Kahan, big pop star, Goo Goo Dolls, Fleet Foxes, Boyz II Men, who just reunited with their classic lineup, Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, the Sacred Souls, Kingfish, Lisa Loeb and the Nine Stories, and many more. But just wild, very unusual that Foo Fighters would cancel. I hope it's not because of illness. I suspect it's because of the drama in his personal life. Milwaukee Metalfest has just announced their first bands for 2025. The successful Metalfest will be in its third year, resuscitated by Jamie Josta of Hatebreed. He is the founder and booker and owner of the brand now, and Down has announced their first show of the year. Down is working toward new music, and this lineup is actually already pretty killer. Down, Dillinger Escape Plan, Exodus, Destruction, 3 Inches of Blood continuing their reunions. Wolves in the Throne Room, Trouble, Acacia Strain, Harm's Way, Fugitive, Speed, Exhorter, Full of Hell, and Necrogoblicon, Deceased, and Legions of Doom, the new doom metal supergroup featuring our friend Carl Agel, formerly of COC. This looks amazing. Early bird tickets are on sale now. Last year, the early bird tickets all sold out, so definitely you can get yours, perhaps. Thank you to those. Oh, Cooking It Up asked me my opinions on Strapping Young Lad. I love Strapping Young Lad. I don't know if you are new to us, but if you come over to our YouTube, we have several interviews where I interviewed Devin Townsend. It was one of the thrills of my whole career in life. I'm a huge Strapping Young Lad fan. And actually, in addition to Devin, we also recently interviewed my partner, Omar Cordy, interviewed Gene Hoglan in an extensive, 2-hour interview where Gene talked about every single band he's ever been in, practically, mostly about Death Clock, but every other band. And he talked a lot about the strapping stuff. So thank you, Cooking It Up, for liking this live and that great question. We love Debbie here, all eras of Debbie. I'm a huge fan. And we have some more Debbie news coming. Yeah, I think, for Devin, he's the kind of guy, he has to just kind of keep moving it along creatively. And he did do some very heavy stuff with Devin Townsend Project. And I think just having the experience and the career he's had, he can kind of do whatever he wants. He's doing all kinds of crazy. Power Nerd has some very heavy stuff on it, the new album coming next month. So I'm pretty stoked. And I think, I think for him personally, it was also reflective of the time in his life. It was very chaotic in his 30s, because it is 20 plus years ago now before he put the band down. And, he was suffering with some mental illness. He'd been very open talking about drugs and alcohol and mental illness at that time, which is why probably the music was so bananas. But Love Job for Cowboy, we interviewed them this year. That's one of my albums of the year so far. We interviewed Johnny Davey, and it was I interviewed Nick. We've interviewed Johnny before, but I interviewed Nick, and just what a just absolutely baller album. I'm a huge fan. Hey, what is up? I see people I see and know on all the socials. Good to see y'all. T.I. Short. I never know how to pronounce that screen name. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think, because they're all, onto different parts of their lives, right? I think we will get another Job for a Cowboy album. And it will not be 10 more years, but it definitely won't be 2 years. And I think they will get announced for some festivals and some concerts next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up getting added to something like Maryland Death Fest or Full Terror Metal Assault or something like that. A little more high profile. They are, a pretty huge band. Scooter is here. What is up, Scooter? Happy Friday, or almost Friday. It's still Thursday. The Keefster. I worked with a guy in the 90s who used to call me Kiefer, like Sutherland, or Kiefer the drink, the fermented milk drink. I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, Milwaukee Metalfest coming on back with Down and Dillinger Escape Plan and a bunch of other bands. I'm sure Dillinger Compound's going to show up. That was the second place I looked for that news. More information is leaking out about Warped Tour. 100% confirmed Warped Tour is coming back. Now, I don't believe, why is it in the festival section for us? I don't think it's going to come back as a tour. I think it's going to come back as a few-day festival in different locations. If I had to guess, I would say California, like Los Angeles area, Texas, because obviously, and either the Midwest or the East Coast, like New Jersey or New York or Boston, because it makes the most sense to have it regionally. And if they can only do one, it would be in California or Texas. But I do believe it's coming back. I don't think it's possible to bring back. Thank you. I don't think it's possible to come back the way it was, because all those bands were not huge. They became huge because of Warped Tour, and then the tickets cannot possibly be cheap. They're going to be expensive. Brace yourself. It's going to be a lot like Mayhem Fest. The idea of it is incredible. And then when you get the sticker shock, when you see the lineup, don't be pissed. I think Warped Tour will probably be able to afford one upper echelon band, 2 well-known mainstream bands, and a bunch of newer bands. That's probably what it's going to be. But a lot of people discovered a lot of great punk rock because of Warped Tour. All right, cooking it up. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Just a reminder that Shiprocked is around the corner. I believe it's already sold out, but there's a wait list. Same thing with Headbanger's Boat. If you like the metal cruises, 70 tons of metal. We'll be getting some new announcements from them soon. Fortress Fest has announced their full lineup, and this is crazy. Agalock, 1349, Ulcerate, and a bunch of other unreadable lineup black metal bands I can't quite make out, but fun nonetheless. This looks amazing. We are always happy to help rep them. Aftershock's around the corner in just a few weeks. I believe I'm going to try to go, but my health hasn't been great, to be honest with you. I went to the doctor yesterday, and not bad news, but not the best news, sort of mixed bag. So I just don't know if I did a one-day festival in June, and it wiped me out pretty bad, and I don't know if I can come back and do this. So I'm going to make a decision later next week or the week after if I can actually pull it off. But I'd like to go. It looks great. Desertfest is just got announced for London. We just covered Desertfest New York. We're going to have coverage of that soon, and we're pretty pumped for that. That looks pretty great. Pretty great. Also, once again, Soulcrisher Festival is also coming up the same weekend as Aftershock. This is, though, also in Europe, and also a lot of black metal and black and death metal. So we're pretty pumped for this, including the great Zeal and Ardor. Zeal and Ardor everywhere on the strength of their new album. Evan Romero is here. We've seen you here before. What's my favorite hip-hop album? My favorite hip-hop album is probably, of all time, definitely Boogie Down Productions' Edutainment by KRS-One and the late Scott LaRock. And more newer, probably like 90s hip-hop would probably be Enter the 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang Clan. KRS-One, my favorite rapper of all time. There's a bunch. I like a lot of classic hip-hop. Modern stuff, not so much. In Flames, I love. We've interviewed the band countless times, probably like 4 or 5 times in our career. Anders, multiple times. Love that guy. Love Bjorn. And, very excited about new In Flames, and In Flames on tour right now in Europe on an insane, just a positively insane tour with Soilwork. I wish that tour would come in here. Hey, Craig Caruso's passing by. Craig Caruso, if you guys have websites and you need some support, Craig Caruso is the man. Give him a follow and learn some shit about how to run a business online. Northwest Terror Fest has announced their save the date once again, their annual extreme metal festival in Seattle at Numos and Barboza, the 2 legendary venues of Seattle. And that's May 8th and 10th. So Mother's Day weekend, if you don't have a mom or you don't care and you want to go see the metal festival. If you do have a mom and they're cool, represent. If they're not cool, I understand. My mom was the coolest, and I feel bad when people have bad moms. So, yeah. All right, that's all the festivals. Now it's time for the concerts and one-off events. We've got a few of those this week. So Metallica is wrapping up their 2-year M72 tours this weekend in Mexico with their second weekend of shows tomorrow and Sunday. As we record this, Friday and Sunday. They continue to put out videos on YouTube and do a bunch of other things. And they, as we know, they've announced their 2025 tour, which, again, mildly surprised me that they were going to do this because I thought they might take a break and make a new album. A lot of boomers on the internet mad about Limp Bizkit. I think Limp Bizkit is, aged better than they were back in the day. I definitely was anti-Limp Bizkit. It's weird. I had, a weird relationship with them. I liked them, and then I didn't like them, and then I went to Woodstock 99, and I hated them. because of what happened. I was there personally. There's a video on our YouTube all about it. And then it's kind of as I get older, I like them more again. Children of Bodom, great band. I miss Alexi. He was phenomenal on guitar. Killer band. I had an interesting run-in with that band in person. I'll tell that story sometime. But yeah, killer band. The guy, obviously couldn't overcome his demons. I think Limp Bizkit. Wes is insane and great. Fred is enduring. People love Kid Rock. You know what I'm saying? And people liked Crazy Town. And, I feel bad for Seth Binzer, Shifty Shell Shock. We found out his cause of death this week. I didn't really put it in the news because, whatever. He's gone. That's the thing. Not like, oh, he died of an overdose. Okay. It's not really a surprise. It's not as important as some other things. So, it's like, people raise up Kid Rock on a pedestal. Guy's literally dumb as a bag of white bread. That's been sitting in a pool of, a porta potty toilet. But anyway, Metallica tickets are on sale already. They're getting snapped up. Going to see Gojira Korn and Sleep Token. That's crazy. Oh, that's the big show at the soccer stadium. I was even surprised they were going to sell out that soccer stadium because it's about 22,000 people. We might do some special Korn content next week here on the channel. Stay tuned. Cooking it up. It'll be here on TikTok as well as our YouTube. If you want to give us a sub over there, you'll be notified when we go live. But I'm stoked for that. We did just cover Korn. We're going to have a review of the Korn tour very soon on the site, perhaps as soon as tomorrow or Monday. And we might still get to cover that. We applied to cover that show in LA. I don't know if we're going to get chosen because, it's such a big thing. Blue Ridge Aster is here. Hi, Blue Ridge Aster. Yeah, Dad Vibes is a bop, Scooter. I agree. Fred knows who he is. He knows he's ridiculous to the max, and he knows that he has haters and he has people who love him. I cooking it up, no biggie. Get in. We're we'll take you wherever you come in, man. I came into rock and heavy metal at 4 or 5 years old. I fell in love with Black Sabbath as a toddler, and Kiss was my first favorite band after that, and then everybody else, Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Rush, and then all the metal in the 80s. So congrats and welcome. Thanks for being here. Will Mullins is here. Jennifer Alexander is here. Warrior Nuts. Protect your nuts. Humboldt is here. Yeah. All good. Metallica. Still doing the thing. I really thought they were going to take a year off, but I was wrong. Linkin Park will not slow down. They are doing their barnstorming tour all over the world, selling out stadiums, dropping new songs. We'll talk about that later. But they added a bunch of new shows all over the world. And they're selling out in no time. So clearly, whatever the controversy was with them, people don't seem to have cared. Oh no, man! Death metal was kind of brand new when I was a youngster, so it wasn't. I didn't really get into it until junior high school and high school for sure. But whatever you like, you like. I just said to somebody, I met somebody last night in an Uber who told me when they were growing up, they liked metal a lot, and then they kind of grew out of it. And I said, well, that's what it is. It's either I don't like metal or I love metal. Nobody's like, sometimes I like metal. Most people are like one extreme or the other. There's no in between. This is pretty sad. Jason Allen Butler of Fever 333, they're about to drop a new album. They booked a huge tour. And then he went online and made a series of posts talking about his mental health, and they canceled the entire tour. And Zulu was the main opener, as well as a bunch of other bands. And I know that the band has had a reputation of canceling before. And he was very humble and was like, listen, I have some mental health and depression issues. A lot of grown-ass people are not talking about depression. I came from a generation you were not supposed to talk about your feelings. All I ever do is talk about my feelings now. But we weren't really supposed to back then. So they have canceled their entire tour. That's the whole world for people asking, US and everywhere else. Well, cooking it up, strapping young lad, just to jump back to them for a second and comment on your comment. They are 20-year, they retired over 15, 20 years ago. So they were a big thing 20, 25 years ago. So they're gone. And in the meantime, Devin has made 25 years of new, different music that doesn't sound like Strapping Young Lad. And he did the one show where he brought in and did like some of those songs. I don't think he would ever bring it back, but that's, he can do the heaviest thing. He can do the lightest thing, but they don't know. Well, I mean, like, one of the laziest things you will ever see on the internet is when someone posts about somebody, someone will invariably go, who? You're a jackass. Everybody has the Google machine or their cell phone or whatever search engine you use. Just look it up. Look up the guy. He's wonderful. And he's been, a supporter of us. So I really feel lucky. I got to talk to him a few times. I interviewed him in person once in New York, which was dope. And he was like recording backstage during his tour. Like he was recording electric acoustic ukulele, bass ukulele. I didn't even know such a thing existed. But yeah, get well soon, Jason and Fever 333. That new album's going to be a banger. I definitely guarantee it. Iron Maiden tickets are on sale now for the Run for Your Lives 50th anniversary of the band tour next year, with Hailstorm and the Raven Age supporting different dates. They've only announced the UK and England, the UK and Europe. They are going to announce America, South America, all for later next year as they're finishing this tour. They've announced the next one. That's what they do. Probably not going to get a new Maiden album. I love Lamb of God. I got to interview them also last year. We've interviewed Willie Adler a few times. I've interviewed Mark Morton a couple times. And big fan of Art Cruz, who used to be in Prong and Winds of Plague. And Helmet, great drummer. One of the best in the world. No surprise he got to take over that job. Great band. We covered them recently, too. We covered the Lamb of God Mastodon tour not too long ago, so that coverage is on our site. Also, Deftones tickets are on sale now for their arena tour. We talked about this last week. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, when a band acknowledges you as a fan, that's the best feeling in the world. Or if you get like a guitar pick or a drumstick or a set list or something. I often say, like, they don't really owe you. Bands don't. They give you music and they give up their lives to do it. So it's not like they owe fans their being, but like I like it, like they're generous and I like it. I've said before, I don't know, I'm proud of Deftones to be able to book an arena headline tour. I don't know who the next arena headline bands are beside Metallica, Slipknot, and Iron Maiden. They can't go forever. They just can't go forever. Speaking of Devin Townsend, here you go. Devin, one of the things he's announced beside his new album Power Nerd coming soon, and he's been dropping singles, dropped a new single last week. This week, we are talking, he's doing a one-off show in 2025 in the Netherlands, where Ghost Cult was founded, not by me, by some other guys, and then I came in and took it over a few months later. But there's a orchestra called the Metropole Orkest. I'm sure it sounds better or different in Dutch. And what do I think? I do know what happened with Chris Adler. I'll tell you in a second. So Devin is going to do a full album performance of his album, The Moth, which he hasn't really toured and played any of that, I think, except maybe some of those Devin acoustic headline shows where he played a couple of things or maybe like teased the fans. My face is killing me. I'm having like an allergy attack the last few days. I need to take like a little like immunity shot or something. But one of my Trader Joe's turmeric and ginger shots. But Devin is going to do a one-off performance with an orchestra, the full album, The Moth Live, and I'm sure they're going to record it for DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, beeps, something on top of whatever else crazy shit Debbie is going to do. As for Chris Adler, you know what happened with Chris. I think in general, Chris was kind of coming apart from Lamb of God in general. They were growing apart. He had different interests. The guys are all... I don't think Randy is going to do this shit for 10 more years or 15, 20 more years. I just don't think so. I think, Willie and Mark have kids and they've talked openly about missing holidays and family things and stuff. And then Chris had a really terrible motorcycle accident where he really banged up his body. And if you know about drumming and drummers, the other truck has dropped by. What's up, the other truck? With the other trucker, Curtis. What's up? Chris had a terrible car accident, so I think his body just took a beating. Also, 20 years of playing drums in that band that went so hard, that's so challenging. He just didn't want to be in the band anymore, so he took the opportunity to step away. They got on a cruise. Chris has popped up recently in a new band. He's got a couple of other bands. He had a restaurant business at one point. He's got a management company where they manage bands. So I just think he just didn't love being in Lamb of God anymore. Yeah, anytime. And, you know, I'll tell you something. I don't think the brothers are that close, which is very sad. But, you know, we saw that with Sepultura, where Igor quit his own band. And Max quit his own band. And then Igor stayed 10 more years. People forget about that. And Igor was in Sepultura for 10 more years beyond Max, and then left. And then Max and Igor kind of mended their fences. So maybe I hope the brothers are good, but I don't know. As far as I know, I don't know that they're close. I hope they are. Because family, you know, you're stuck with them. If you're friends, you can choose to leave if they're toxic or whatever, but your family, you're kind of stuck with. Usually. Sometimes not. Okay, moving forward. Speaking of the devil, Sepultura, Obituary, Agnostic Front, and Claustrophobia. I saw this show last night. You can see a hilarious video of me trying to do like a just got out of the show video. And it's like chaos all around me. And I'm trying not to laugh my ass off. You can tell I'm like literally stifling a laughter. But it's pretty funny. But great tour. I saw this last night. Sepultura played like an hour and 45 minutes of just, you know, a little bit from every era and every album. It was really impressive. And I think after the winter shows and 70 Tons of Metal, they're done. I don't think they're coming back. So thoughts on Mastodon. I love Mastodon and my other podcast, the Glacially Musical podcast. You can check that out. We're doing a series right now. So I have this where I do the news and I do some other streaming shows and things. I just did a Black Dahlia Murder review for the channel on YouTube. And on my other podcast, we do series of bands and we unbox vinyl and we talk about how to buy and take care of music. And we're doing Mastodon. My partner on the podcast does not like Mastodon. He definitely dislikes them. And I love them. So we're battling it out. And I'm trying to get him to hear my point of view and talk about the album. Everyone agrees that Leviathan is a classic. Devin Townsend is the Mike Patton of music and art. He really is. Also, have you ever seen Devin Townsend live? He does those funny, hilarious videos. I don't think he has enough time to do it anymore, but he used to do these like hilarious comedy videos in between his sets and before his set. Also, the Kings of Thrash. I always thought this was a little bit of a, you know, it's legitimately a great name, but it is a little braggadocious. Former Megadeth members David Ellefson, friend to the show, and Jeff Young, former interviewer as well of ours. The Mega Years Tour. The Blood of Heroes Tour Europe 2024 is kicking off soon in November. They will play the early songs from Peace Sells But Who's Buying, Killing Is My Business, and Business Is Good, which was Jeff Young's album. So Far So Good, So What? That was Jeff's album, sorry. And selections from the 30th anniversary of Euthanasia, which does turn 30 this year. And the opening band is David Ellefson's death metal band Dieth, featuring former members of Decapitated and other bands. So very, very cool. Also coming, so many concerts and tours. Royal Thunder has announced a co-headline tour with Atomic Bitchwax. If you watch this show, you know that I love Royal Thunder. This is the winter 2024, technically right around the corner, November. Not quite winter. But if you're from Atlanta or New Jersey, that is the winter. This is the show I'm going to right after this show is over. I'm going to eat some dinner and run down the block to this show at the DNA Lounge here in San Francisco. Deicide, Crisian, Inferi, and Cloak. What an insane show. 3 death metal greats and Cloak, who's like a blackened death metal hardcore influence band, who are just absolutely cool. They're all worth your time. Crisian, I love them. I once drove 20 hours to go see Crisian. To Canada, 20 hours round trip with friends of mine to go see them because they skipped America for like a bunch of years. They used to just go to Brazil, fly to Europe, Brazil, fly to Europe, Brazil, fly to Japan, Brazil, fly to Europe. And they skipped America for a long time. And then we went to Canada to go see them. I think apparently it's cheaper to fly out of Toronto than any American city. I don't know if that's true anymore, but it used to be. Ann Wilson of Heart, the legendary classic rock singer, one of the greatest singers of all time, just gave an update. Heart has begun to rebook their canceled tour. They had a tour, reunion tour between the sisters didn't talk for a long time. Speaking of beef and family drama, Ann Wilson is battling cancer. She's had her surgery. She's going through chemo. The worst of it is over. She gave a health update. She said chemo is no joke. Get early detection. It's the only reason she's alive. But she sounded good. She looked good. She gave an update, sort of a video update, and they're coming back. So I'm very excited to go see them. Papa Smalls just popped in on TikTok. What up, Papa Smalls? Ghost Cultist. Go follow him on all the socials, including his Twitch channel and TikTok. I don't know if you're still doing your record stuff, Chris, but let me know if you are. I still would be down to jump in and talk about vinyl, or maybe have you as a guest on my vinyl podcast and we just nerd out about vinyls you have. I think you would like it. Anywho, moving right along. This is pretty cool. I don't know if you know who Nate Bergman is. Nate Bergman was in a stoner doom band that was pretty cool, and he's sort of become a solo artist similar to Amigo the Devil and Frank Turner. It's very like also Dropkick Murphys, like a lot of inspirational, cool music, very political. He's doing his first ever American headline tour. Minneapolis, Omaha, Lawrence, Kansas, Indianapolis, and Mesa, Arizona, where we've covered a lot of shows at the Nile Cafe. Nate Bergman, definitely worth checking out if you like great singer-songwriters with a little bit of punk. Also, Inter Arma is doing a record release show tonight, so it means it already is happening. It's probably happening right now. And Inter Arma is going to perform their whole new album, New Heaven. Milk Boy in Philadelphia. So if you're watching this, run over there right now. Piron, who just surprise dropped a brand new album, great technical, brutal, avant-garde death metal band, and No Gods, local Philly band. So what a great lineup. And Into Armor is a band we haven't talked to in a while, so maybe I will pursue a new one. Right, I think I remember the Restructures story, but I know you got your hands full with everything and being an awesome dad. So shout out to you. Well, yeah, whenever it happens, buddy. Have I listened? I love that new White Trample track. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago about how like throwback it was. There, White Trample's original like EP or first album was Somatic Defilement, was just brutal technical death metal, and then they kind of shifted over to deathcore, which was becoming big at the time with Suicide Silence and a bunch of other bands. So we haven't talked about it yet, just briefly, maybe a month ago or a month and a half ago, but also Perish is coming back for some shows to start 2025. I don't know if they're fully reactivating with a new album or anything, but like they're playing at the start of the year, again, right here where I live. I'm definitely going. Just a shout out to a friend of the show and former interviewee, Michael Alago. You might know him. He signed Metallica to Electric Records. He discovered White Zombie, or at least helped make them into the metal band they became. And he's doing a book signing in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Only New Bedford would abbreviate New Bedford NB when it's really, that's New Brunswick, Canada. But New Bedford, Mass, Southern Mass, it's on Pope's Island, New Bedford. He's signing his book, and he's just wonderful. And I think anybody that buys a signed book, he is giving an autographed postcard. He's very close friends still with Metallica, and he has like a picture of him and James recently where they were together, and he printed a bunch of them to sign. Michael's wonderful. You can check out our interviews with him. Pretty much a thrill being associated with him. He's pretty damn wonderful. Also on tour right now is Darsombra. We have some other Darsombra stuff coming up later, but the psychedelic duo is just storming across the country in their van. I got to see them. Not every show I go to is a show I review or I do social media from. Sometimes I just go to a show to enjoy myself. And I went to go see them, and they were bananas, just wild. You have to just kind of let go of all your preconceived notions of what music is and just freak out and enjoy them. They are wild. Also, I don't know if you know about the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas, created by Fat Mike of NoFX, who are on their farewell tour. They leave their last shows ever or next weekend. We'll be talking about that extensively. Maybe I'll do a video around that. Also, Deanna Bellows, a.k.a. Sincere Engineer, is going to do a guided tour with Brendan Kelly, another artist, on September 27th. So that is tomorrow. If you live near Vegas or in Vegas and you love punk rock, especially the history of punk rock, I cannot recommend this enough. If you are a music lover and historian, you need to go to the Punk Rock Museum to just get in. It's not that expensive comparatively. I think to do the guided tours is a little more money. The money goes directly to the tour guide. They do several tours a day. It is absolutely worth it. I did mine with Greg Heston, formerly of Bad Religion, and it was phenomenal. Greg, the guitar player, not Greg, the singer, but it was unbelievable, and I will never forget it. He was wonderful. Also, Undeath, unfortunately, has had to cancel a couple of dates on their current tour. Their new album's about to drop, and their drummer has some infection, like maybe an ear infection. So he's very sick, and they cannot tour. So they're missing some shows. They normally do hundreds of shows a year. This is insane. Two members of the band No Cure were stabbed trying to break up a fight at one of their own shows, and they have had to cancel a bunch of tour dates. Get well soon. This is Jake from No Cure. Get well very soon, my friend. Yeah, man, I mean, I only like to do Vegas for a couple of days. It's wild. I don't need it anymore. I'm not a young kid anymore. I don't need to stay up all night and party. I don't care. I love Vegas for Psycho Las Vegas when they had that. That's gone now. And I enjoy Vegas in little doses, go to some record shops. The Metal Blade Museum is there also. Metal Blade Records has a museum now, and you can get Brian Slagle lives there, basically, and you can hang out. Anger is a Gift is on TikTok. Your anger is a gift. I have some Rage Against the Machine news soon. You'd be surprised at it. Also, so that's all the festivals and tours. Now let's blast through all the news stories of the week and then get on out of here. Hey, Stephanie is here. Shout out to you, Stephanie. I saw that you followed my other podcast, the Glacially Musical podcast, and my partner was like, who is Stephanie? I was like, Stephanie is a Ghost Cult superfan who is awesome. Great taste in music, always great with the commentary. Much appreciated. You have never been to Vegas. It's worth it for a weekend. I wouldn't go for more than that. Actually, when it's cheaper to go to Vegas is like Tuesday to Thursday. That's the sweet, or Monday night to Thursday is the sweet spot to go to Vegas. It's not cheap anymore. It used to be like a vacationer's paradise. Go there and have a fun time on the cheap. Not anymore. It's very high class. You can, I always say about Vegas, you can have, I think the kid is gone. So I think you can have, on TikTok, I think you can have the most gutter time, or you can have the most high elevated time. Like I went to Vegas the first time and I wore suits and I did like a swingers thing, like the movie Swingers with John Favreau. And, I ate at a fancy restaurant and I went to like a Vegas show and I saw Penn and Teller shoot each other in the face with laser sighted guns. And I went to the ass end of town and saw a rock and metal show because I'm crazy. Or a couple of metal shows while I was there. I went record shopping. I did some, window shopping, and I gambled a little, and I got the hell out of there. No, I wish, Scooter, but I will talk about it. It's funny, though. They did pop up this week. It's coming up soon. So this is insane. And I'm going to actually just blow this up. So everybody, if you want to read this, if you want to pause your screen and just read this. So Megadeth, as we get into the news, and I'm going to try to whip through this like I have been doing. So Megadeth goes to Richmond, Virginia a couple of weeks back on the 15th to play a concert. And they get there and they cancel. And they didn't really say why. They were like, we're unable to play tonight. We're sorry. Peter Frampton, you might know if you're old enough, Frampton Comes Alive. I want you to show me the way. Do you feel like I do with the talk box? Peter Frampton is also in Almost Famous, which is like one of my favorite movies, where he plays his road manager from the 70s, which is hilarious. So Frampton also went there a few days later after Megadeth, and he canceled his show. And when they were like, hey, Peter, why did you cancel your show? Peter Frampton blamed Megadeth. Peter Frampton said that Megadeth's sound check, where the band plays through and, gets their levels and everything before they go off stage, and then the show begins and they come back later and play their set, damaged the venue so much that Frampton had to cancel his show. This incensed Dave Mustaine. I don't know if you know that Dave Mustaine loves to have beef with people. Maybe he doesn't love it, but he seems to love it. Dave Mustaine's publicist his publicity team is one of the most respected, legendary publicists in all of music, rock, metal, whatever. They have Ozzy, they have huge bands, and they have Megadeth. They put out a press release answering this Peter Frampton claim. And so Megadeth's answer to this was, Peter Frampton didn't know what he's talking about. Megadeth did not get to do their sound check. They showed up, their team examined the venue and was like, oh, this is unsafe. We're not even going to set up our gear. This is unsafe. Something bad's going to happen, and we cannot play the show. So Megadeth never sound checked, and they left. We canceled, and we left. And so Megadeth puts out a press release. This is so bizarre. This never happens. Like normally, like someone will answer on social media. And Megadeth, felt like, the lighting and the rigging was unsafe. It could be a failure and injure anybody, the band, the fans, the crew. This is unacceptable to Megadeth, and they canceled the show. And here's the quote from the end of the press release. It seems Frampton was misinformed about our show being canceled, says Megadeth's Dave Mustaine. The decision was purely based on safety. It's disappointing when someone you admire talks out their ass about you. Things I did not have on my bingo card. And now people are like, well, Dave is low class for calling out Frampton. I mean, get your facts straight, guy. Get your facts straight. I think Peter Frampton's like 75. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there we go. It's me again. Peter Frampton's like 75 years old. So like, I get it. And Dave is, 60 something. So like, I understand. Massive media is here. So, just crazy. Then there's this other more drama. There's a bunch of drama stories this week. So here's Journey. People know that Journey is one of my least favorite bands from the classic rock era. I'm just not a fan. I know a lot of people are fans. I'm not a fan. I know they're a great band. I just don't like them. That's my personal taste. I don't like them. How are you doing? I'm just not a fan. So Journey is playing Rock in Rio, one of the biggest rock and metal festivals of the whole world. They usually last for like 2 straight weeks of festivals. They have like a heavy metal day, they have a classic rock day, they have a mixed day, and basically the lineup is not dictated by who the biggest, most popular band is, but who's popular in Brazil. So for whatever reason, Avenged Sevenfold was the headliner. They're still, Lie Bad, their last album, Life Is But a Dream, came out a year ago. It was phenomenal. They're touring the whole world behind this, and Journey was the band right before them. Journey comes out, and their singer, Arnel Pineda, who's been in the band for 2 decades, is struggling, and he has a bad show. This guy has been, first of all, he came in an impossible, the Journey hasn't, Steve Perry, he's not the original Journey singer, but the most classic Journey singer that people respect and know from the hit songs, hasn't been with the band for like 25, 35 years. He quit in the late 80s. He came back briefly. He hasn't been back. Arnel came in 20 years ago and really made Journey an arena headlining band again because he can do the show. He can do all the songs. He's great. He was singing covers on YouTube in the Philippines. And he's Filipino, and English is not his first language, right? And he comes out there, and he just has a terrible show. Unfortunately, at the biggest festival in the world. Just about. And he was devastated. And then the fans started killing him on social media. And I don't know if he was emotional. He's been talked before about being very sensitive and wanting to quit the band. He's a family man. He hates being away from home. He lives in Manila still. And Journey is based in San Francisco mostly. And Journey is already a disaster because 2 of the guys in Journey are currently suing each other over control of the band. Jonathan Cain, the keyboard player, and Neil Schon, the legendary guitar player, are literally constantly fighting. And I'm sure the band is not talking, and it's probably very difficult to be in that band. And the fans all know about it. This is not a secret. This is well known if you Google this. So Arnel goes on his social media and says, first of all, I want to say I'm just humbled and thankful to be in the band for many years. But honestly, I'm sorry, I had a bad night and nobody feels worse than me. But also, if people have been very shitty to him, as many people have supported him for what he did for the band, people have also been shitty to him. So he's many times felt like, maybe I should quit. And he's homesick and all these things. So he was like, if enough fans, he was like, should I stay or should I go? If enough fans type go in the comments across all my social media, I will retire immediately from the band forever. Whoa, this is too much. This is where you need a publicist to be in charge, or a social media manager like this guy right here doing this show. That's where you need to have somebody running your shit for you, because you should not go on social media and threaten to quit your band at the level that Journey is at. If a death metal guy does that, we saw Vitriol split from one of their founding guys recently on tour, opening for Goat. It was unfortunate. The 2 guys are still continuing, but that's one thing. Sorry to see him go. Everybody knows I'm difficult to work with, and this is that. This is insane shit. And then resoundingly, the fans were like, please don't go. We know you had a bad show. You're great. We love you. Please don't leave. So he posts again more recently, like the good has won against evil. It's like, okay, this is like some crazy, this is some shit Britney Spears would do, not a guy in one of the biggest legendary classic rock bands ever. So this week has been bizarre. Just bizarre stuff has been happening. Anyway, more bizarre stuff. We brought you the story a few months ago that Josh Klinghofer, formerly of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, was arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter. He was driving around Alhambra, California, near LA, and he ran over a guy, killed him tragically. The family alleges that Josh was distracted by being on his phone. His lawyers say he wasn't, and the family of the deceased guy, they're now suing Josh also in a civil case. And Josh pled not guilty in that case and affirmatively said, I didn't mean to do it. And it was an accident. And I'm really deeply sorry, but I'm not responsible, or maybe not responsible, but not as responsible. And, again, my brethren out there in the journalism world are just insane with Pearl Jam guitarist Josh Klinghofer's a murderer. Well, so Josh was in Chili Peppers. He was in Eddie Vedder's band. He's been a backup guy for Pearl Jam. He's been in a couple of other bands. He's had his own musical career. I'm sure he feels terrible. We don't know the truth of this. I'm sure it'll come out. If he is guilty, he's going to pay a lot of fines and maybe jail. I'm sad when anyone loses their life. Pay attention when you drive. You can't drive and text, everybody. You got to know better. You got to wear your seatbelt, because if you get hit from any angle, you could just die in a car. Cars are not made very well anymore. They used to be all steel and indestructible, and now they're a lot of fiberglass and stuff that'll just break in a second. Gabe Smith popped by. Kirsty Hicks popped by. Thank you for being here. Smalls is still here. Thank you, Smalls. So yeah, this is a terrible story. We'll continue to follow it as we go on. Here's another doozy of a thing. This is just, again, the weird shit keeps getting weird. Mike Dean, one of my personal heroes from when I played bass guitar of COC, quit the band. Now, he quit the band once before, but basically he co-founded the band. He was out of the band for a few years in the late 80s, early 90s. He came back to the band. No one saw this coming. No one could see this coming. Apparently, COC is working on new music. Pepper and the drummer from Galactic, Stanton Moore, has come back to the band. He did America's Volume Dealer, which I think celebrates an anniversary today. But this is a shocker to me, like that he would quit. And I'll just paraphrase this really quickly. Mike Dean posted to social media recently, I made the decision to step away from Corrosion of Conformity, a band started 40-odd years ago by Reed Mullen, rest in peace, Woody Weatherman, and myself. I'm extremely proud of everything we've done together, and I look forward to hearing more from the band going forward. When I rejoined COC for the finishing touches of Deliverance, I moved back to Raleigh for an all-in creative campaign. But time, distance, meaning the distance between the band members, he's the only one that lives in Raleigh now, and side projects in life in general have changed all that. Ever since Reed drifted away from the band and then passed away, it's been difficult for me to collaborate on new material with bandmates who live hundreds of miles away. He's going to put together a new band based in Raleigh as an outlet for more focus. That's his music, because apparently they weren't really using his ideas, and Woodrow Pepper and the COC crew are going to continue to go forward, and they're going to obviously have to get a new bassist. The band then commented that we, Woodrow and Pepper, are in full support of Dean's future endeavors. We wish him all the best. Thankful for the music we made and the revolutionary paths created. COC is working on new music. As we mentioned, Down is already booking shows for next year, so maybe that's also part of it. Mike did mention side projects being a thing that kind of, disappointed him, I guess. Just a shocker to me. Just a shocker. I know he left once before, but it's still pretty shocking. All right, Linkin Park. Back to some other stuff. Speaking of controversy, Linkin Park, as I mentioned before, booked a bunch of new shows, and they dropped a new single, the second single from their upcoming album, From Zero, and they teamed up with League of Legends. I don't know if anybody here plays League of Legends. I'm guessing some of you TikTokers are gamers. And Linkin Park's new song came out as part of League of Legends with the band animated in the game. It's pretty fun. Similar to Metallica with, I guess, Fortnite recently, where there was an animated version of Metallica in the game. We'll be pressing forward with a lot more news from them soon. Jane's Addiction, more controversy and craziness. Jane's Addiction, as you know, canceled their whole tour. Perry Farrell took a swing on stage at Dave Navarro. Then Perry got his ass kicked backstage by multiple people. And now he's seeking help from some emotional help and apparently some ear and throat help. It was interesting that he didn't talk about didn't really issue an apology as much as he expressed regret about what happened. I should have had that quote ready to go, but it was interesting to me that he's blaming his hearing and his throat and not his emotional breakdown or maybe alcohol and drugs. You do not like the new Linkin Park. That's fair. I understand, the whole deal with them. I had this debate with many friends who were like, I can't support this. Brad is still a member of the band. He's just not touring. If you got money like Linkin Park, you don't have to tour. Why would you? I think there's plenty of bands with no original members. There's plenty of bands with one original member. I'm equally devastated that I agree. Perry is sober and humble and kind and a hippie the way Ace Frehley says he's sober. Not at all. I'll go there. I love Ace and I love Kiss, and as terrible as they have been and as people, but Ace is not. I've seen the footage. If he's sober, there's something wrong. I don't think so. He needs some help. But Dave Navarro made a statement this week that he's like our new record because they put out a new song. Jacob Spear 87 is here, and Tanetta Townsend is here. Daniel Thorne also popped by. Dave Navarro's like I'm really proud of our new record, and no one's ever going to get to hear it live because this band is done. So he basically was like, I doubt we're ever coming back. The female voice is too weird to you. I understand. I think anybody they picked was going to get negatively compared to Chester. It's just too hard. It's just too hard. But anyway, enough about those guys. On to some good stuff, man. Emma Ruth Rundle, who is a phenomenal singer-songwriter, is putting out her first book of poetry later this year. Pre-orders are live now. I'm pretty stoked about it. I used to write some poetry myself. It does sound pretentious coming out of my mouth, but it's true. I was actually an award-winning poet in high school and junior college. So I'm really excited to talk to, hopefully interview her or someone from Ghost Cult to interview her and talk about this project. Venomoris is the band of sort of romantic goth rock from Dave Lombardo. You might know formerly of Slayer, currently of Mr. Bungle, formerly of Suicidal Tendencies, Testament, a bunch of other bands. He put out a solo album this year. And his wife, Paula, who is a wonderful singer, they had this project. They put out a couple of singles last year, and now they have announced they put out a new song, and they're going to put out their full-length album on Lombardo's label that he's part of, Ipecac Recordings, speaking of Mike Patton, co-owned by Mike Patton of Faith No More and Mr. Bungle. And so it makes sense that Lombardo would be down to put his record out with them. They did a very nice job on his solo record. Yeah, Emma is incredible. She was in the band Marriages and Red Sparrow, I believe. Pretty great. We are starting to get announcements for 2025 albums. And so this is, I think this is actually the wrong photo. Is this the wrong photo? Might be the wrong photo. Yep, that's not the right photo. That's on Death again. Here we go. Sorry. More albums coming out soon this year. Immortal Bird, friend to the show, recent interviewee for their side project. But we are long supporters of this band, and they're coming out with their brand new album and have dropped another couple of singles. So very exciting stuff with them. If you love sludgy death metal, blackened death doom, Immortal Bird is for you. Doth, who recently put out their comeback album, The Deceivers, after also a 10-year break similar to Job for a Cowboy, has put out a brand new version of their classic debut album single, Servitude. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Subterfuge. I have Black Dahlia Murder on my head. Sorry. She did the Thou stuff. I have both the vinyls, the EP and the full album, Stephanie. I'm a big fan of Emma Ruth and Thou. And I'm a big fan of Thou. That Thou record is probably, again, top 10 for me this year. But Doth, if you're loving what they're putting down with this brand new lineup of just absolute killers, like a Murderer's Row, Yankees, 1927, reference, 72 Dolphins, 85 Bears, 94 49ers, whatever. Doth is that band right now, and great technical death metal. So Subterfuge re-recorded by the current lineup and put out. Now I hope they'll do more of this. They did a death cover or two. I'm hoping for more. I said Servitude. I'm crazy. Here we go. We're getting announcements for 2025 now. This is the band Grief Ritual. Their new album is going to come out from Church Road Records. We're big fans. That is the underground label in the UK, led by Sammy and Justine from Employed to Serve. And they have their own boutique indie metal label. And they do punk bands, and they do death metal bands, and they do hardcore bands, and they do avant-garde black metal bands. Dot is a straight ripper, another top one for me. Max Devlin has popped by. What's up, Max? Oh, almost done here, folks. And I got to get to this show. Solstafir also has a new album coming out. Another one of my favorite bands in the whole world. I really need to learn Icelandic so I can understand these words. But basically, post-rock Thin Lizzy, their new album is going to be, top tier for me on their new label, Century Media. Very exciting. Poppy dropped a brand new single and announced her new album, so we'll be looking forward to that. Always making the neckbeards and the bros mad, but she's pretty awesome. Sometimes black metal, sometimes dream pop, sometimes industrial metal. Living Color. Again, shout out to my beloved and late friend Damien. Is one of our first bands we bonded over. Living Color's classic debut, Vivid, is getting a deluxe vinyl remaster reissue tomorrow. So this weekend, if you want to go pick it up, you can. I'm excited for it. Just a sort of side musical thing. Dazed and Confused, the classic album, classic movie about stoner rock kids in a small town, is 26, 27 years old this year. And in Austin this weekend, there's a big screening. Not the all right. Not that guy, Matthew McConaughey. Sometimes douchey, sometimes people like him. But the whole rest of the cast, Mila Jovovich, and most of the cast is getting together to do a screening and a Q&A with fans. And again, Dazed and Confused, a lot of people in the pre-Spotify era discovered classic rock because of movie soundtracks like Dazed and Confused. So I always like to shout that movie out when I can. Opeth, Michael Ackerfeld of Opeth, is confused why people are amazed that he brought back the death growls. Nobody is better at playing the press than Michael Ackerfeld. Other related news is that Storm Corrosion is finally getting a new first-time vinyl reissue of that album between Steven Wilson and Michael Ackerfeld. But new Opeth coming soon. We announced last week that album is now delayed to late November, but very excited for that. And Till Death Do Us Part is the album. And I love these photos, and the album artwork is a homage to The Shining and the Overlook Hotel. Very exciting. Almost done. Chino Moreno jumped on stage to play with Smashing Pumpkins in Portland, where Chino lives. Pretty cool. And that is all the news. G-Bus. Let's just quickly bang through news at Friday. It is a huge week of releases this week. So let's talk about what records came out and what's awesome and what you should be picking up and spinning if you love rock and metal and all the adjacent genres. Chino or Michael? Oh, Michael. Yeah, Michael's a big record collector. Next interview I get him for, we're going to talk all about albums. I may not do him this go-round, but we'll see. Adorior, Bleed on My Teeth on Dark Descent Records for some black and death metal. Amethyst, Throw Down the Gauntlet on No Remorse Records. Deluxe edition of Let the Ocean Take Me by the Amity Affliction if you like metalcore and rock. Arcona, the well-respected Russian folk band, folk metal. Stella Pandora. Awake the Dreamer, Hollow Scene on A Rising Empire for some deathcore. Balash Toth equals Equation EP, self-released. It's probably some crazy shit. Battle Sword 2025 of Tales and Tragedies. Bewitcher, that's one to watch out for. Bewitcher, Spell Shock on Century Media, great black and grind band. Black Dahlia Murder, Servitude, going to be, in my opinion, the pinnacle album of the week. Blue Heron for your desert rock stoner doom. Everything Fades. Boogeyman, Rotten Leaves, self-released. Bottomless and Witching Hour have a split. Graveyard Thunder. Cantervice, 0 Hour on Fixed Records, probably some industrial metal and some electronica. Crypt of Reason, Stargazer, self-released. See a few other things. Drugs, Destroy, Rebuild Until God Shows. That band is still around after 25 years. Until God Shows, their new album. Exuvial, The Hive Mind Chronicles Part 1, Parasitica, self-release, death metal. Half Me, Opium on a Rising Empire, another strange band. The Healing Process, Theme and Variations. Harriot, this is another top-tier band. Harriot. Hey, Interstellar Smoke is here. What's up? Harriot is sort of a blackened hardcore, progressive blackened hardcore band. Devoured by the Mouth of Hell on Century Media. High Parasite, which is a supergroup featuring Aaron Stainthorpe of My Dying Bride. Forever We Burn on Candlelight Records. Lizard Mesh on Pelagic Records. Let's see. Marche Funebre, After the Storm on Ardua Music. The Man Motel, Old Wounds on Mongrel Records. Mirror Queen, Dying Days on TP Records for some stoner rock. Nahoda, self-titled. October Drift, Blame the Young. Let's see. Oceans, Happy on Nuclear Blast, good album, good band. Our Hollow, Our Home, killer band on A Rising Empire, more metalcore. Cyclona for some more stoner rock. I love these guys. Work Vision on Magnetic Eye Records. Again, Pythonic, EP1. We just streamed the album today at Ghost Cult. You can hit our site right now and take a look at it. Rain City Drive. Things Are Better Now on Thriller Records. Richie Kotzen, the guitar legend. Richie Kotzen on Nomad solo album. Ripped to Shreds for some crazy shred on Relapse Records. Robert Rivera is here. Hi, Robert. What's up? What's up? Let's see what else. Rolo Tomasi live at the Electric Ballroom. Great progressive metal band. Rough Magic, Moth Eater on SOL Records. Savage Existence, Bright Lights. Good band. Serge Tonkian of System of a Down solo EP, Foundations. Spite, The Third Temple on Invictus Records. Triskelion, Shattered Elysium on Moribund Records. More black and death metal. Swamp Coffin, Drowning Glory, Sludge Metal. Warlock, Book 2, The Valley of Agen, Warlust, Sol Invictus and Umbre Satene, Dying Victims, Witch Trap, Hungry as the Beast, and The Ring with a W, not just an R, Nemesis on Wormhole Death Records, usually black and death metal. Brooklyn Miss is here. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good to see you. Right back at you. Even I will send a like and a heart. All right, time for the mailbag, and then let's get the hell out of here. Once again, I love this meme so much from last week that I kept it for one more week, which is like, it's $19.99. Spotify and iTunes don't exist yet. You just spent $10 on an album. 3 tracks in, and you realize it fucking sucks. The pain is real, y'all. So earlier in the show, time for the mailbag. Earlier in the show, I talked about Darsombra, and then I caught their show, not really for review, but just casually to enjoy as a fan. It was wild. And they have they're completely DIY band, psychedelic, crazy, avant-garde experimental rock. Duo. Keyboards, guitars, sound effects, crazy visuals, light show, dancing, masks, costumes. It's just, you have to just kind of let go of reality and enjoy the show. And I went to the show. It was literally down the block from my house at the Eagle in San Francisco, the most famous leather bar in San Francisco, right down the block from my house. And Darsombra they played with Sunbomb, who is an interesting, mostly instrumental metal band, and Veil, who's a stoner doom band, local bands. And Darsombra, they have an incredible array of merch that they sell, and it's mostly affordable. Even the vinyls are kind of cheap. They got $10 shirts, patches, all kinds of cool things. The band makes jewelry, trinkets, all kinds of stuff. So they were selling this thing, and I couldn't resist. I may even send it to a lucky fan. So it's the Darsombra Doomsday Book is their latest album. And this is a 2-cassette box set, an evocation of Darsombra's stratospheric 2023 album on analog tape. New heights of euphoric psychedelic buzz, sweeping cosmiche, synthesizer majesty, massive hypno riff guitar, space rock delirium, and triumphant arena-sized glam pop bliss. Shout out to whoever wrote this. They are much smarter than I. I'm going to show you in a second. I should have put my other camera together for this, but I'll just hold up this stuff because I'm going to rush this week. For devotees of everything from Tangerine Dream, Klaus Schulze, Pentastar Era Earth, and Hawkwind, and many more, Animal Collective, and much. So this is a limited of 150 copies, 2-cassette box, Doomsday Book, and it's got a bunch of stuff in it. So this came in like a VHS box. It's got like a hype sticker on it, like a vinyl does. And then it's got the artwork here. Pretty damn cool with the spine in case you want to put it on your bookshelf or something. And then let's just see what's in this guy. All right. I believe, here we go. Let's see, we got 2 cassettes. This was $20, and I think it was well worth it. So we got 2 cassettes, a cool button. Looks like a poster of the album artwork. Pretty neat. Poster might get a little ding, but I think you can fix it. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. This looks like a little button sticker pack here, wrapped in bubble wrap, or it might be it's a button, and then I think there's some pins. Oh, this is like a cool crystal because they're hippies, right? There's another button, so 2 buttons, a funky crystal. Wait, there's more. Here's a little book of lyrics and like a little artwork that goes along with every song, single artwork. This is probably something from the vinyl in a bigger form. This is pretty crazy. A download code of the record. Pretty cool. 1 sticker with their logo, which is basically a psychedelic gypsy moth. Kind of looks like the Death's Head moth, but it's not quite. And then Crucial Blast, which I think put this cassettes out. They had another label for the vinyl. And this is like a little ad for Crucial Blast, which is cool, like a little distro. One of the old distro poster, basically, or distro postcard. So this is for $20. This is a lot of value. And again, they had dope shirts and just lovely people. You know, you root for them. You're rooting for people like this to make crazy, great music and have fun out there and blow people's minds. So this is pretty cool. I'm glad I was able to support them with my wallet. I like to go to a show and buy merch, not just vinyl for my selfish vinyl collecting needs, but yeah, for all this stuff, make an unboxing video. And that is a really good idea. I should definitely do that. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. And then I may give it away. Ghost Cult's 12th anniversary is coming up. Last year we gave away a bunch of merch, just a bunch of merch randomly to a fan. For our 11th anniversary, we did a contest, a giveaway. Maybe this year we'll do it again. And that is our show at a somewhat manageable hour and 23 minutes. Normally I like to do these things a little faster. I appreciate everybody for showing up here. Here's Darsombra live. This is wild. And here's their tour. They continue to tour through the end of, I think, November. They are from Baltimore originally, and they literally crisscrossed the whole country to tour. Kieran Scott Vokes is here. Hey, Kieran. What's up? Good to see you again. Thanks, Chris, for being here and passing through. So that's our show. We're ending, Kieran. You showed up right at the end, but thank you. What's the site? The distro or the band? The distro is Crucial Blast, and they have a lot of underground bands. The band, again, is Darsombra, Darsombra, and they are an experience, to say the least. Thank you, Brooklyn Miss. I appreciate you. I am heading over to DNA Lounge down the block from my house after I eat something and take my meds, because I'm an old man, and I'm going to see Deicide, the homies in Crisian, in Fury, and Cloak. What a show. As we say every week at this juncture of the show, it's the Ghost Cult Magazine weekly ritual live stream podcast, whatever you have it. Thanks for being here. If you made it this far, you know who you are. You're a real one. If you're brand new here, thank you so much. And as we say all the time at the end of these shows, it's a tough time in the world. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And stay as metal as humanly possible. And as usual, I am going to dance a jig on the way out. Darsombra. Peace.